Imagine you're on a beach. It's a relaxing beach. Relax, relax, deep breath.
We bury them all together in a layer.
Do we need morbidly obese people to provide more fuel?
They have that meth sheen going. Their leader secretly is the sheriff.
Good luck. Godspeed.
Sushi jackknife. 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 Sushi jackknife.
What does war sound like?
Pew, 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 pew. Ah, it's scary. Run from the bombs. That's the sound of war.
This is not something I should be laughing at.
I saw stuff on the History Channel, so I know exactly what it sounds like now.
We talked about World War II in color, didn't we, one time?
Yeah, war's not funny, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sushi Jackknife.
Welcome to Sushi Jackknife. Wow, we got to the top real fast. Welcome
I
back.
decided I'd try something new and get us, introduce the show in the first 10 minutes of the show.
That's a good idea. That's probably a solid thing to do.
I don't know why any podcast actually introduces what the show is.
Yeah.
Because you do have to, you're not going to be running through the radio dial like the old days and go, well, what's this I'm listening to? You don't do that.
Right.
You have to actively download it.
Yeah. Yeah. You intended to hear this podcast.
I mean, if you somehow accidentally are listening to a podcast, you just don't know how technology works and you should give up on podcasts.
Yeah.
But don't if you're listening to us.
Yeah. We need everyone we can get. Well, last week was fun. The wildly successful crossover. Tattoo Bananas.
Oh, yeah, the Nanner Boys.
The Nanner Boys.
Them nanners.
They love it when you call them that.
Do they really?
Yeah. I need to apologize in advance to everyone tonight. I have allergies, and it's wrecking my voice, but only in the evening. So my voice is getting wrecked.
And my voice is wrecked, too.
It's all the tree jizz. The tree jizz is wrecking my voice, and I don't know why it's happening, but whatever.
You know you're not supposed to swallow that.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, they're trees.
But they paid me $1,000.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
By all means.
Yeah. I mean, the podcast fund is set for a while. We're good.
There we go.
Because I did what I had to do with all those trees. Conifers, cypress.
Which, if you had to pick a tree as the most attractive tree, what would you choose? Sexually attractive tree.
I like magnolias.
If you were to be sexually attracted to a tree, you'd pick a magnolia.
I think I'd pick a magnolia because they have those shiny leaves, man. And they're not like an evergreen, but they're always green.
See, I feel like they would be, if you were to spend too much time with them.
Yeah.
High maintenance.
Magnolia? Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, look how shiny they are.
They are shiny.
That's not just a, everyday tree. They put in way too much work.
Yeah, I mean, it does take a magnolia longer to get ready in the morning than your average pine, but I mean, what are you going to do? If you are in the market for magnolia, you know that's something you expect that.
That's true.
From, you know what I mean?
I have no idea what's happening on the podcast anymore. I actually, in the middle of me talking about magnolia trees, totally forgot what kind of tree we were even talking about.
Did you really? Did you blank?
I was like,
Did you blank?
I don't like it.
Pines are little skinny bitches, I'm not into pines.
Well, that depends on the pine.
No.
I mean, there are fat pines.
I guess there are big pines in the Northwest, but I like a good southern tree. And all the pines in the South are real scraggly, They have that meth sheen going.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the southern pines.
So the Nanner Boys, they like it when I call them the Nanner Boys.
No, not really.
Did they say that at all?
No.
Have they even mentioned that I keep calling them the Nanner Boys?
Nope.
I think it's an adorable nickname.
It's cute.
I think that if we were to come up with the cutest nickname for them,
Yeah.
Nanner Boys would be close.
Okay.
I know they're going to listen to this, so they're going to know
Yes.
so much.
They will. They will.
They're going to know about their nicknames so much.
Yeah.
The one that I've given them.
If you have,
It's endearing.
Right.
I don't mean it in a negative, derogatory way.
I don't know how Nanner Boys could be taken negatively.
Well, I mean, it depends on the tone of voice.
If you were like Nanner Boys,
Or like
that.
them Nanner Boys. Like, that's not
You just looked at me.
Nanner Boys.
You just
That's
looked
not
at,
positive.
you just looked at me like we're in an old West movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's some kind of gang. Ooh.
The
Like there's
Nanner Boys would be a
Yeah,
gang.
Yeah, the Nanner Boy gang.
The Nanner Boys came to town.
Oh, shit.
Call the sheriff. fool.
Oh, wait. Their leader secretly is the sheriff.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bum, bum, bum. I'm sorry, every descending series of notes has to be answered with an ascending series of notes. There's no descending notes in Westerns.
There can be.
No, there can't be because, listen,
What are you? The chief of Westerns? You know all the Westerns and all the songs to all the Westerns?
well, frankly, the answer to that question is no. But, however, for me, it's all about intuition, Nathan, and my intuition tells me, my man's intuition,
Yeah.
that there's no dum-dum-dums in Westerns. That's reserved for noir, horror.
What if it's a noir Western?
Have you ever seen one of those?
No, but that should definitely exist.
We just created a genre.
That sounds like a lot of work. I'm not interested. Someone else can have it.
Whoever you are, if you're a filmmaker out there, noir Western, run with
Just
it.
do it.
Yes.
Good luck. Godspeed.
I watched this documentary this week about uranium. Have I talked to you about this already?
About uranium?
Uranium?
Or the documentary?
Both?
You've never spoken to me about either topic.
Great. Good. This is called Uranium Twisting the Dragon's Tail. It's on PBS. The dragon, I don't know if you're following me here, is a metaphor for the power of uranium. Okay? So this guy, this physicist, this scientist, you have such a doubtful look. It's hard to even get through the introduction here.
What, when you were looking at the things that you could watch,
Yeah.
what made you stop on something with one of the worst titles for a documentary I've ever heard?
I'll admit, it's a bad title.
It's a really bad title.
It's cheeseball-y at best. Mm-hmm. It's Dennis Quaid cheeseball at best.
Is Dennis Quaid involved?
No, but he was in that Dragon movie.
Strike two.
Yeah, good, right?
If Dennis Quaid should narrate all documentaries about uranium,
He should.
mark it down. I declare it so.
He would be good at the voiceover.
He would be.
He's got a gravitas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quaid. But no, yeah, so it's on PBS. You can go watch it right now on pbs.org or whatever. And basically this guy, Derek, is a physicist. And he talks about how they discovered uranium and Marie Curie and all that business and radium and shit glowing in the dark.
Yes, I'm familiar.
We get to the bomb. Part one ends, post the bomb. And then the second part gets into Fukushima a couple years ago. And reactor meltdowns. He actually goes to Chernobyl with a scientist who I think she referred to herself as like the bio freak or something.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, they go to Chernobyl and he's got a Geiger counter throughout this whole trip, right? And I mean, I guess everyone probably has at least a tenuous grasp of what Chernobyl is. But if you don't know, in 85, 86,
Sure.
a reactor in Russia melts down. They shut it down. A lot of people get, some people get sick from it. But it turns out actually that the impact of Chernobyl, and that's the worst nuclear meltdown in history, wasn't as like widespread as we think. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
the perception is that it's much worse than what actually happened. So if you were in this town, Pripyat or whatever, you had to leave, right? And you didn't necessarily come back.
But to be fair, you're in a small town in Russia, so you're really not that upset that you have to leave.
Right. Maybe you got to go somewhere a little
I assume
sunnier.
most of the people just went, "Oh darn."
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I guess I'll go to another shitty Russian town. So the good people of Pripyat have to leave, but the wind blows another direction. The wind in the people where the wind didn't blow,
Right.
they don't even have to go anywhere. It's fine. Like, they're fine. There are already people living back inside the exclusion zone at Chernobyl right now. Most of them are
Interesting.
older people who want to live like off the grid or whatever, but they're living there right now. It's very spotty there. So what they actually did, there were these firefighters, right, when Chernobyl melted down, and these were the first people to go in. They put out the fire.
Right.
Okay, these teams of firefighters put out the fire.
Oh, what a terrible job.
Well, it's a suicide job because they, as soon as they put the fire out, they rushed them all to the hospital and they all just started dying.
Right.
Right. They went down into the hospital where they were treated with the Geiger counter, with the suits on and everything. The Geiger counters are going crazy. They're overloading, and they're overloading next to the clothes that are still there from the firefighters. This happened in the mid-'80s, and the Geiger counters are still reading thousands and thousands of time over normal, like, background radiation
Wow.
off of their clothes, man.
I'm assuming this hospital's no longer in use.
Well, Aramark is serving food there, but otherwise,
Naturally.
otherwise, yeah.
Aramark serves food everywhere. So
Food for the world. I think that's the Aramark motto.
So-
Shitty food for the world.
was the general thesis
Yeah.
that nuclear energy is safer than people assume, or not as safe as people assume, or neutral?
It was pretty neutral. It was
Okay.
very sort of exploratory through most of it. Now, at the end, he sort of gave his thoughts, but it was brief. He had been taking not only the Geiger counter, their handheld Geiger counter with him everywhere, reading, I guess, normal background radiation. They measure it in something called sieverts.
Okay.
And normal background radiation is like 0.2 microsieverts anywhere on Earth. So, like, and, people produce radiation. So, like, you
Right.
and me are increasing our collective radiation right now just by being in the same room together. So he's measuring that with his Geiger counter, but he also has this little red thing that measures his, like, total exposure over the length of his trip. So he was working on the documentary for whatever, a couple of years, whatever. And he's, at the end, he shows it, and he's fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's just slightly over normal
Interesting.
background collectively. You know what I mean? So he's fine. So, but he does, like I say, he goes to Chernobyl, he goes to Fukushima. No one died, by the way, because of the meltdown at Fukushima. They died because of the tsunami and the earthquakes.
Right.
They did not die because of the meltdown. People have been relocated into these crazy little, like, shanty apartment things that actually look pretty nice. I mean, it's Japan. But there's a lot of, like, people are having a lot of psychological, as you can imagine,
Right.
issues from the meltdown. People that worked at the plant are, like, horribly burdened by it. People that had to move out are, like, horribly depressed that they can't go to their houses still, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they can go occasionally, but they can't go for long. So that's all happening. But, at the end of it, he's not sure. He's like the risk is really high. But at the same time, we are designing new kinds of reactors. And he had a scientist on. She's designed a reactor that uses spent fuel rods from other reactors.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
pretty sweet. And can't, by its very nature, like, it can't melt down.
Right.
Like, by the design. So,
Well, and I mean, theoretically, according to things I've heard, it would be very clean energy if we could do it.
right.
Of course, that's assuming you don't destroy the environment
At the
by
same time.
having gigantic nuclear meltdowns.
Right.
So,
Right. It's crazy, right?
yeah.
And just some of the numbers he throws out are crazy. So, but just to wrap up, at the end, he's kind of both. He's kind of like, the risk is really high. We've sort of already released this on the world.
Right.
There are literally thousands of warhead missiles hanging out between us and Russia and other places. Mostly us in Russia, though. You know, just hanging out. We've let the dragon out, if you want to follow that metaphor. Yeah, right.
Really dumb title.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Well, it actually ties to like this Aboriginal tale about a giant lizard. So there's a reason.
Yeah,
but
it's still a really dumb title.
I know. Yeah, it's bad. Derek, I'm sorry. This is the truth, though. You needed an editor on that one. Mainly us. But
just me sitting there going,
yeah.
Derek, man.
Right.
Come on.
But some of the figures and stuff he throws out throughout this thing really blew my mind. First of all, I didn't know, you know, uranium starts out as uranium, right? And over the course of it's very unstable. The actual atom itself is very unstable. Your dad's a chemist, you know. So it degrades something like 14 times into different elements. So that's where radon comes from. It actually turns from a solid into a gas, back into a solid.
Somehow I actually knew that.
Yeah.
But the 14
times.
Not so much.
Yeah, and they're words you never hear, like thorium and stuff. I think that's the first one it turns into. Thorium's a good one.
That's my favorite.
It's a sexy element. And at the end, it finally turns into lead. Like that's the end product. And then it doesn't and lead isn't radioactive at all. That's the end.
Right.
The uranium, you know, and you know about half-life, right? So the amount of time it takes half of it to to become unradioactive, right? Yeah. The material at Chernobyl, by the time the Earth is oblivion, by the time we fall into the sun, some 5 billion years from now or whatever, only half of that shit will have become unradioactive. Isn't that insane to think about? So something that happened in the 80s, you know, when we were born, we were alive, at the end of time, basically, for all intents and purposes, unless we move the human race somewhere else, that's it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's still there. Chernobyl's still there.
This is an example of what irritates me about... I'm not going to point out a specific group of people, but let's say a political party that starts with R. Now, they are always talking
about... The Raspberry Party?
Yeah, exactly. The Raspberries are always talking about how renewable energy is stupid.
Right.
Because we have coal, and we have gas, and we have... This is an example of how long it takes for these things to develop.
Right.
These things exist in the earth, but if you use them all, more will show up eventually.
Right.
You gotta wait, a few 100,000 years for some of them, but it's gonna happen.
Right.
Come on. Have some foresight, Raspberries.
I have a plan. This just occurred to me, but I have a plan.
Yeah.
The way to replenish our stock of fossil fuels, we have to start now. We have to start right now.
Well, yeah.
Everyone's dead pets all go in the same place.
Okay.
We bury them all together in a layer. Mm-hmm. And then we crush that layer. And then we wait.
Okay.
And eventually, actually, we should do this with people too. We should bury people. I can never run for office. We should bury people in a mass grave when they die naturally, of natural causes.
Right.
With our pets.
So take the people we murdered.
No. Just the people that died on their own. Not suicides. Just regular old dying.
Wait, why not suicides?
Well, okay, fine. I guess because...
so you're a proponent of suicide.
Well, no, but we could maybe be implicated. Maybe we force them to commit suicide. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not in charge of any of this. This is all your plan.
All we have to do is just crush a bunch of shit, mainly peoples and dogs and cats, maybe fish, I don't know, birds.
Yeah.
Birds would be good. I just get mad at birds because they fly so easy. And stuff. Anyway, just crush them all.
Are you bitter at birds for being able to fly?
A little bit, because they're not afraid of it, and I am. You know what I mean? This neurosis goes deep, my friend. So we crush everything, and then we wait. I mean, maybe we can figure out how to speed up that process.
There's got to be a way to expedite that process.
Yeah. What are they doing now in the Dakotas that they're fucking the ground, fracking the ground?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are all making love to the ground. in the Dakotas.
Sounds like a great job.
It's just a bunch of people humping the dirt.
All the porn stars, all the washed up Ron Jeremys of the world are out there just shoving their dicks in the ground in North Dakota.
If you go to North Dakota, you'll find fields just full of holes.
That's what that Disney movie was about.
Just lines of holes.
All roughly, an inch in girth. Well, we are talking porn stars here, maybe 2 inches in girth.
Like 1.3 inches.
Yeah.
Not that I've measured anything. Such nonsense.
But don't you love it, though? Don't you? I mean, that would be a better use for North Dakota than what it's currently being used for.
Everything would be a better use of North Dakota than... Well, I take that back. There's no good use for North Dakota. That's where we should bury all the people in MASH.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we should do
Now we have a use for North Dakota.
We should bury MASH, North Dakota.
There we go.
Bury with a U, not an E.
Or an A.
Barry?
Barry.
Guy's named Barry?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can be... Berries can be buried.
With berries.
But not berries.
Oh, shit.
The berries don't make any fossil fuel, but if Barry is buried, then that'll help.
Wouldn't enough berries make fossil fuel? If you
I don't
buried
know.
the berries with the berries?
Would it help if you force-fed berries to Barry before you buried Barry?
I think the more berry there is,
Yeah.
whether we bury berry with berries,
Right.
it's going to help.
Let's say we have a foie gras situation.
Yeah.
Where we just shovel berries into Barry.
Yeah.
Barry gets fat on the berries. We got fat berry.
Yeah.
And we bury fat berry
Berry.
in the ground in North Dakota in the berry field
Yeah.
where we bury berries.
And we squish them.
We squish berry. Does that make it happen? Or does it at least provide more fuel?
Well,
Do we need morbidly obese people to provide more fuel?
I don't know, but I think that might make them delicious.
That's true.
Yeah. What do they eat in foie gras? Don't they eat the livers? Don't they force feed them and then eat their liver?
It's goose liver.
That's so fucked up.
It's so good, though.
Is it good? Have you had it?
so
Have you tasted it?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Foie gras? Is that like 2 words? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
FOIE space GRAS.
That's gras.
Foie gras. Foie gras.
So the lesson is torture is delicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as it involves you eating liver at the end of it.
You'll agree it's torture, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's horrid. It's horrid, right?
They have found ways to do it without force feeding
Oh, they have.
geese.
What do they do now?
I don't know. I'm not in charge of it.
Okay, you're not in charge of it.
Yeah.
By the way, this town where we're doing all the burying,
Yeah.
it's a new town. We'll call it Barry.
Berryville?
Berryville. That's even better.
Do you bury Barry in Berryville?
Berryville, yeah. With berries. Okay. We have a globe on the table tonight, and it just occurred to me. This globe, by the way, guys, is a dated globe. It indicates that what is now known as Russia is the USSR.
Oh, surely it does.
And I'm thinking what Nathan could do is spin the globe, stick a finger on it, and we could talk about whatever we land on the globe.
Can we just skip ahead to the Mongolian People's Republic?
Is that what you want to talk about?
I don't know what we're going to talk about.
They have a dish they're rather famous for.
General Tso's chicken.
Yeah, and I think they ride horses. One time, what do you got? What did you hit?
Sudan. This is going to be a real downer.
Sudan?
Real downer, man.
Redo. Sudan is an automatic redo. Sorry, guys. What do you got?
Brazil.
Okay, we can talk about Brazil.
Last time we talked about Brazil, it involved rape. So that was
Did it?
a pretty big downer.
Oh, yeah, it did. Have you ever seen the film Brazil?
No.
I haven't either, but it's supposed to be crazy and cool.
Ryan Lochte got arrested in Brazil.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That did happen.
Yeah. I don't know what I just selected.
What'd you land on?
Somewhere, some Malaysian area.
Let's talk about that. What do you know
I
about
guess it's Malaysia.
Malaysia?
They're bad at flying planes.
This isn't going as well as I thought it would.
No.
Maybe we should go back to Sudan.
All right. Last one.
Yep, last one. What do you got, buddy? You're looking real close. It must be an island. What do you got?
Melanesia?
Melanesia. All right. That's the land of Melanese.
I honestly have no idea what I'm actually looking at.
Where all
on
good
the
things
globe
go
here.
to... Let me see. Pass it.
Did you learn geography in school?
Yes, but I learned it in Georgia, so I learned it poorly.
So in geography, we learned the states when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You stopped at the States?
We didn't learn
We filled in a whole globe.
like all the countries?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So you know about Melanesia?
Not really.
I don't think that's a real thing.
We skipped most of the small islands. Oh, yeah, you did land on Melanesia. I see.
Yeah.
Now. Well, I think what they've done here, Melanesia, by the way, guys, is just north of New Guinea,
That I'm familiar with.
as well as I.
If I had just moved my finger 1 inch lower, I'd be less confused.
For all the privileged white people out there, the closest white people place to Melanesia is Australia. That's a pretty good one.
Have you ever realized how ridiculous globes are in the sense that if you look at this, it's just all these countries.
Right.
You'll notice that. And then you look at the United States. They have put every state on the United States.
Indeed, they
now,
have.
They didn't do that in Mexico, where there are also states.
No, they
You
didn't.
don't know about the Canadian provinces, but America, the states are so important, they have to mark it with different color blotches all over this globe.
By golly, they did. And I mean, even Rhode Island is on here.
Yeah.
It's represented. It's bullshit. You know, this is just another example of us and all of our bullshit in this country. Wait. I think I found the copyright for this fucker.
Does it say where
No.
the globe was made?
I want to see. It's called a Crams Scopaglobe. You find a date on there?
I'm looking.
keep
I'm
looking.
mostly curious. It's made in Indianapolis, so that's why they marked the states. It was made here in the United States.
Of course.
A Chinese globe, not going to show those states.
Do you think a Chinese globe would just say China on every country? Or you know how that globe...
Future China.
Yeah. You know how that globe has ridges for mountain ranges and shit? Do you think that the one from China would just have like a fence around China?
Yes.
Yeah. This is how we... That's not a Chinese accent.
No.
This is how we control the internet.
That's also not a Chinese... Although I feel like if you did a Chinese accent, it would be racist.
I'm not even going to try because in my head, I'm embarrassed
It's
already.
a racist accent in your head, isn't
sure
it?
it is. Sure it is. I don't know.
You did like a French accent. For some reason, French accent's not racist.
No.
Chinese accent's racist.
Truth.
I think it's because everyone hates French people.
Well, French people did well on a number of things.
Baguettes,
Baguettes.
mimes.
I wouldn't say that's that's just a choice.
Well, I mean, they did it better than other people.
They think they may be the only people that do mimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did it best.
So they win.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Eiffel Towers.
Yeah, they win at that.
They're the best at Eiffel Towers.
The only one again.
No,
There.
Vegas.
Vegas hasn't. Oh, yeah, you're right. Paris.
Yeah.
Is it called Paris? Paris?
Uh,
That's Circus I'm thinking of.
Oh.
You know what I'm reading right now?
I don't.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, are you?
I am.
I've never read it.
Okay. All right. You want me to tell you how I feel about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Yeah, sure.
Adore the film. I watched it, years ago, of course. I watched like half of it the other night because I didn't want to get ahead of where the book was, but I did want to see some of it.
Okay.
It's great. I mean, I've been reading a lot of. I've been on a novel binge. It's been. I'm actually rather impressed with myself.
Well, that makes one of us.
So I read, because of the girls' book group, I read 2 Raymond Chandler novels. Okay, which were wonderful, wonderful. Somehow,
If it was a noir western, then I'd be on board. But just noir, no, thank you.
okay, fine. So, Just regular. That's so basic. It's like it doesn't even have a hyphen. It's just regular noir. It's not like noir space or like noir romance. It's just like
Those
noir.
books are like the pumpkin spice lattes of noir.
PSL available now. Available now. So I
basic.
read 2 Raymond Chandler novels, which are fucking brilliant. Beautiful writing. I read some James Bond. Fun. Fleming.
Not good.
Fleming is at least just the one book. I've only read the one so far. And I like James Bond, you know that. But Fleming is not he doesn't touch Raymond Chandler in terms of writing. Then I saw
Well, he doesn't really touch anyone in terms of writing. It's not good writing.
I mean it's writing.
He succeeded in getting words down onto something.
Between drinks.
It's not good.
I think it has its merits. It has its merits. He does action really well. I will say that for Fleming.
Okay.
He does action well. And I haven't read a lot of people that do action well. Usually action is like, then I grabbed the thing and it stopped us all from spinning to our death. That's, you know what I mean?
What situation are you in where there's one thing that you just lackadaisically grab to keep you from spinning to death?
Nathan.
I don't understand.
Nathan. I was trapped in a giant globe.
Oh, and you just like casually went, I'm just going to grab this here. Oh, we're safe.
Well, you're putting me in a situation that I wasn't actually in, but yes.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So Fleming, I read some Fleming, and then I found this guy, Kirill Bonfiglioli, who, remember that Mordecai movie that I loved? I was really sucking its dick. I loved it.
No.
Well, it came
Is that
out.
the Johnny Depp movie?
Yeah. Not an
The one I
amazing.
haven't watched because everyone says it's terrible.
Everyone hated it, but I loved it.
Okay.
The novels that character is based on, that film is based on, are really, really good and really funny and very English and everything.
Oh.
And I love them. I read 3 of those. Okay. And so now I'm reading, I'm coming off of having read 3 of those novels. Okay. And some other stuff in between. I read a mushroom book.
Sounds thrilling.
It's tasty. It was a hyphenated mushroom book.
Oh.
Just so you know. It was noir mushrooms.
Mushroom noir.
Mushrooms and fedoras. Smoking cigarettes. Now I'm Hunter S. Thompson, right? Hunter S. Thompson is a really good writer.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
He's a really good writer. I'm coming off of something that's really funny and clever, and this is it's clever, but it doesn't, it doesn't have the same. Rhythmically, it's very different from Bonfiglioli.
Well, yes.
Yeah, very different.
It's very different from
everything.
Yeah.
So I'm reading it and I'm really enjoying it, and of course I know like the first chapter almost word by word from the movie because a lot of it's taken right from the book. Book. It was a series of articles. Yes, originally.
I'm trying to think the timeline through.
Rolling Stone, right?
He wrote a lot for Rolling Stone. What happened was he was being paid to write for Sports Illustrated, and then just didn't do it.
About the Mint
because
400, yeah.
That'll teach him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He just didn't do it. Yeah, drugs.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, lots and lots of
Just
drugs. So you're reading it, and Nathan, sometimes I was reading, and he describes how it feels to be that fucked up so well that it got to me a little bit.
So
you know what I mean?
You shouldn't be reading it.
Well, I read it. I got through those parts. You know what I mean?
Knowing that you can't separate yourself from things you are reading or watching.
It's true.
I'm just going to go ahead before you tell me the rest of this and tell you shouldn't be reading this.
No, I'm enjoying it. I've got through. If it plays out the way the film plays out, I've gotten through the worst of it. The grapefruit has been thrown into the bathtub. If you know what I mean. If you've seen this movie or read this book,
Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh, right, so great. So sometimes I felt literally disoriented because he's describing the experience so well. I noticed that when I was drinking, it was easier to sort of read it. The thing I've noticed about really good writers, and I'm sure you've noticed this too, it's really smart, it's really descriptive, but it also reads fast. Have you ever noticed that with people?
It depends.
Yeah.
The
It just flows.
the closer you get to I feel like it's because of dialogue, but the closer you get to modern time,
Yeah.
the more it's that way.
That makes
Like
sense.
really good writing from like the 1800s
Yeah.
still doesn't flow like, say, a Kurt Vonnegut.
Right.
Kurt Vonnegut, you're through it.
Right. Right.
I mean, I read Slaughterhouse 5 in like a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's with other things happening. It wasn't just me saying that. I just threw it.
Yeah. You lived your life and read Slaughterhouse 5 in a week.
I read Old Man in the Sea. It's a very short book. I read it in 2 days
Yeah. Yeah.
because it just flows. I like stuff from the 1800s, 1700s. Some of it's good. Does not flow that well.
Yeah.
You have to think. And I
Yeah.
think it's because you understand what's happening more naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's your time period sort
Sure,
of that you're
sure.
living through.
Right. Right. There's a lot of terms that you're, it's written in a vernacular you understand. Yeah. And the Bonfilioli was like that, but it was a little, but I don't understand his references because he's writing from 70s England. I don't know Britishisms that well. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
flowed. You know what I mean? And Hunter S. Thompson's the same way.
Well, and I think that's also an indicator that we as people, as time has gone on, have... I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Have no attention span whatsoever.
It's true. It's true.
It's
It's true.
like go back to a movie from the 30s.
Right.
No one can watch a movie from the 30s.
Anymore. Even a movie from the 60s or the
It's
70s.
painful.
The pacing is and it's all about the editing. You know what I mean? They used to as a rule, they never cut on movement.
Yeah.
And now they cut on movement constantly.
And especially 60s and 70s writers
Yeah.
grew up in the movie era.
Right.
So they're not, I mean, and I know I talk about them all the time, but I can't help it.
It's okay.
Kurt Vonnegut
He's great.
grew up on the pulp movies.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
the B movies, all the stupid, awful sci-fi nonsense movies.
Right.
And so his writing plays out at the same type of tempo. where it's
Gotcha.
just happening.
Right. Right.
Quick,
right.
quick. Moving on. Because especially B movies, they didn't take time to develop plot.
No, they just
It's
wanted
just,
to get it. They just wanted
another
to do
movie,
it.
do it, make it happen.
The sort of the Roger Corman stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Things like that. Yeah, totally.
So, the one I just read was Cat's Cradle by him,
right.
and it's that's not the last one I read.
You
Anyway,
just read it?
irrelevant.
Okay.
Cat's Cradle I did read
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah.
and I mean it's told very much that way, where there is a plot,
Yeah.
but it's almost secondary to all the dialogue and everything else.
Okay.
It's irrelevant, really, but it's there.
Yeah. Totally.
And he kind of just explains it by, and also while this was happening,
Oh, that's cool.
and also that was happening.
Right. It's very like
Yeah.
just plain like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I still haven't read any of it. I'd love to.
Now it's going to really hurt me because I can't remember the last one I read.
Oh.
I know it's not Cat's
It's
Cradle.
not Cat's Cradle.
No.
Hunter S. Thompson, though, he also says some really sort of poignant things.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt I'm reading him talking about the 60s. I'm reading him talking about like acid coming on in San Francisco in that time period when he was there.
Yes.
And in the movie, Flea walks in dressed as a hippie and licks his arm. Which is great. If you realize it's Flea, you're like, Jesus, this guy's in every cool movie. He's talking about it, and he's talking about it real poignantly, but I tell you what, man, it was one of those things, and maybe it's because it's like, if I had just been born a little farther back, I would get it. but I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
I don't understand his reference point at all. You know what I mean?
Understandable.
He's speaking about it really well, but it's like, it's a little sad to me because it's like, I can't get it. You know what I mean?
So here's my question for you, as you are currently reading Hunter S. Thompson.
Sure.
Now, before we do this,
Yeah.
have not read his novels.
Okay.
Read a lot of articles, short things he's written. He was actually one of the first writers of that era that I read as a kid when he wrote for ESPN the magazine, which was bizarre.
Oh.
Looking back on it, that's a
Really?
very bizarre thing that happened.
He was still doing sports writing at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, it's right before he killed himself.
Oh, okay. So 2000s or something.
Yeah. But how much of that sort of character and writing is just an act?
That's a great question.
And I will, before you answer, tell this story that I've heard many times.
Yeah, go ahead.
He wrote for Rolling Stone a lot.
Yeah.
And one time when he went into Rolling Stone, for no particular reason, he pulled out a grapefruit and stuck a syringe into the grapefruit and then injected the grapefruit juice into himself. Only it was a collapsible syringe, and it was just for shock value.
That's interesting.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Now, knowing this, how much of Hunter S. Thompson's persona is just a persona?
I don't know that I'm the best person to answer that because I tend to believe people on things. But I the only sense I have so far reading it is that I think probably all this stuff happened to one degree or another.
I think it happened.
Yeah.
But to what extent did it actually happen?
Sure,
Also,
sure.
He's writing recollections
Right.
from the point of view of someone who did massive amounts of drugs.
Massive.
Not the most reliable.
Right. And you know what? That might be, it's funny, but that might be even a strategy.
Yeah.
Because he can't tell what happened and what didn't. All he has is that memory. And it also seemed like he was constructing it from, notes that he had jotted down during the course of this insane drug binge, right? So I think probably a lot of it happened. I think there are definitely probably some exaggerations. And I don't know that it happened in the sequence that it's being written in. I think some of it is probably pieced together from a multitude of events. You know what I mean? Did you ever see The Rum Diary?
I haven't watched it.
I liked that movie a lot too, and I know that's a book as well. And I'd actually reading this, I'd like to read that because I take it he was younger then, and I take it that he was a little straighter then. One memorable thing they do in The Rum Diaries is I guess rum gets filtered at some point before it's sold and bottled.
Sure.
And there's like this guy, there's a character in The Rum Diary who is this total like skeevy drug dude. But his kick is to get those filters and to like squeeze out whatever's left in them. And that is the thing that sends them over the edge in The Rum Diary. And Fear and Loathing, it's some combination of acid, mescaline, ether, booze, weed, everything. Coke. They spill most of the cocaine, which is sad. But yes.
It's probably for the best.
Probably for the best. Yeah.
The one I've always wanted to read and still haven't is his Hell's Angels book. Mostly just because the fact that Hunter S. Thompson just infiltrated the Hell's Angels is the most bizarre thing to me.
Right? It is.
It's not even, from everything I've read, it's not his style of writing because it was before before he developed Hunter S. Thompson writing.
Right.
So it's not going to sound like anything else.
Yeah.
I just want to know. You just want to know Hunter S. Thompson with the Hells Angels. What was that like?
What was that like?
What happened there?
Yeah.
How many times did he get punched?
The guy who later became famous for wearing fishing hats. You know?
Yeah.
Or whatever you call those hats.
Well, I mean, that Hells Angels always wear fishing hats.
Oh.
They wear the bucket hat everywhere they go.
Wouldn't it be great if fishing clubs were just like motorcycle clubs? Fish's Angels.
You go and get customized fishing rods with flames and things like that all over them.
Or the vest where you put all of your...
Well, don't wear the vest if you're not in a fishing club.
Well,
though.
of course.
They'll take the vest.
No, yeah. They'll hook you in the eye. And
take your vest.
And take your vest. Yeah.
You don't want to wear the bottom rocker on your vest.
And they'll leave you pantsed and in a very cold stream somewhere in Colorado. This is what happens.
I assume there'd be a lot of fish skeletons on their vests.
Oh,
Just a lot of them.
You'd have to assume.
Yeah.
And a lot of names that had something tangentially to do with cats. You know what I mean? Because cats catch fish, I guess.
Yeah. Oh. I'm just imagining.
I am too.
An entire... In my mind, it's the stereotypical bikers with the, foot-long beards.
Right.
Leather vest, sunglasses.
Yeah.
Bucket hat with the hooks in it. Casting.
Correct.
Just all casting. Probably a couple of them in waders.
Yeah.
Because you got to wear the waders. The waders would be like motorcycle boots are for biker gangs.
With Motorhead playing in the background at top volume. Everywhere these fishing gangs go, they have to have a sound system.
Yeah. They're all just, shotgunning beers. And,
oh, God. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, bad beer, too. Do you ever notice bad beer makes you feel like shit if you drink a lot of it?
No.
If you drink good beer, you don't feel as bad.
I haven't noticed that.
Okay. Did I tell you? I don't know if I told you because we haven't caught up. I went to Springwater.
You told me this is how the last conversation about this went.
Okay.
You said, I went to Springwater, and I said, what's that? And you said, like, it's a place or something. And I went, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the conversation.
Okay. Springwater is kind of a dive bar in Nashville, right by Centennial Park. Which is odd in itself. It's sort of behind a McDonald's, actually. But it's been there forever. Supposedly Al Capone gambled there. Capone has a little history.
Don't buy that.
He has a history with Nashville, though, so it kind of makes sense. But the place has been there forever. And what it is now is a bar that only sells beer. That's a shame. I like beer, but I like other things. Anyway, booze you can use. So, and then it's also like a place where almost any band, no matter who you are, can get a show. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you can get one or maybe two other bands to play with you, you can get a show there. It's
one of those places.
It's widely known to be that way, but it's cool. It has a lot of history. In the 90s, it was this real kind of like freaky scene in Nashville when all the Garth Brooks shit was happening. This was like a weird little center of otherness. You know what I mean?
The good old days.
Define.
I got friends in low places. Go ahead.
Anyway, that was an interlude. So, Springwater.
Yeah.
It's a neat place. So I went in, dry, cold. Went in, never been there before. Looked on their calendar, looked at some of the bands. I was like, okay, I think I can tolerate at least one of these. So
that's what you want, by the way.
Yeah. You walk in, there's a pool table, there's a big guy who you have to pay cash for the cover, and then it's cash only at the bar, so thank God I have cash, and I buy a Guinness, and then I buy Dos Perros, which is a great beer here in town. I drank like 4 of those. And the bands begin soon. Before the bands go on, by the way, I want the internet to know that I was watching football. I caught a college football game with Auburn and Clemson, and I was very much enjoying it. I didn't catch all of it. I just caught it like part of the third quarter.
How much?
I don't know, like maybe most of the third quarter.
Like I would ask in football time how much you watched, but you probably weren't paying attention to the clock. In human time, how much did you watch?
Probably 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's not a quarter.
What's a quarter?
I mean, it's 15 minutes football time.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about human time. And 15 minutes, it's like...
You're right, because
it's like 3 minutes.
The stopping and everything. Yeah. In football time, I watched a lot less. So, anyway, this happens. Then the bands go on, the TV goes off, right?
Why would they do that?
Well, I thought it was great because it's a small place. You know, if the TV was on, you're supposed to be there to see the bands.
How mad, though,
Well-
would you be if you were really into the game and then the band you didn't want to watch comes on and they interrupt the game?
They left one TV on.
Okay.
For the hardcore people.
There
But
we
there
go.
was a partition between us and them. A slight partition. Okay. So this band comes on. And I don't want to... Yeah, it's fine. I'll name him. But look at that. And Nathan, you know my palate's wide. My palate is wide.
Mm-hmm.
These guys come up there. And they have quite the coterie. They have at least one fan or supporter in the crowd.
Well, good for them.
Well, who has donned her wings.
Wow. They've really made it.
Their band includes a rather attractive older lady in a gown with angel wings playing a flute. A dude who looks like he walked out of a Korn concert playing bass in his 20s. A guy seemingly ready for a camping trip at any moment playing electric mandolin. Wait. The lead singer is sort of a hippie cowboy type with feathers in his hat, playing guitar with a slide. And then there's the probably 400-pound guy dressed like an owl. An owl man. Complete with goggles. The goggled owl man. Now, what they do is something called spontaneous compositions. Any guesses as to how enjoyable this was?
Here's the thing. I know that I should be upset by all of it,
Yeah.
but I hate gimmicks in bands so much
Yeah.
that I'm mostly upset by the woman with angel wings and the owl costume.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that was the dichotomy that was hardest for me because I was like, she seems nice. She had even chatted with me a little bit before they went on. You know, and the other guy, it's just like, what's happening? Like, what was happening, man? Like, and then they played, and it's like the bartender tapped me on the shoulder and looked at me. I just met this guy. He looked at me and he's like, man, I picked a bad night to stop taking LSD. It was just, and I don't mind noise, Nathan, but it was costume pretentious noise. You know what I mean? It was like,
No, I know exactly what you
it
mean.
was too much. Now, there's another band there that night called Bear Pit out of Chicago. Kind of an indie rock band that was a little noisy, but tight. Really good.
You
Liked them a
did
lot.
tell me about them
I liked Bear Pit
because
a
I'm
lot.
against them too.
Why are you against? Oh, Animal Name.
Same gimmick.
That's the problem.
I don't like
it's
the
not
gimmicks.
a gimmick because there's just 4 dudes.
But they gave themselves animal names.
But they were nice dudes.
Doesn't matter.
No, they didn't give themselves animal names.
Did their parents give them animal names?
No, the name of their band is an animal name, but that's it. That's where it stops.
I thought that they
No, that's Animal Collective,
Animal Collective,
which is a
the one I
very
don't
big
like.
and successful band.
Don't like them.
Okay, fine, whatever. But this
Gimmicks.
band, these guys were really good.
Yeah.
I liked them a lot. I enjoyed them.
I had to do an album review a little while back for a pop punk band called
Yeah.
Masked Intruder.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not bad. They're not bad.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, their gimmick, they have a gimmick, is you don't know their names, and they all wear ski masks while they play. And it took every ounce of strength from me to not give a negative review solely because I didn't care for that.
Yeah.
It's not a
Sure,
good reason
sure.
to give them a bad review. And the music was fine, whatever. But if you're starting a band, don't do that.
No, you don't need the premise.
I'm hoping that band, because they're actually signed to a decent sized indie label.
Okay,
I'm
that's
hoping
good.
like it's pop punk people from other bands playing, and they don't want everyone to go, oh, it's a supergroup. Blah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. And they wear masks for that
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
But either way,
It's silly.
don't use owl costumes, angel wings, ski masks. Don't give yourself funny bear names.
Right. There's a band that plays around Nashville still, and I encountered them only because I was interning at a venue, and I don't remember their name, so that's probably for the best. But their whole shtick was like this they had a storyline.
See, I'm already upset with them.
As was I. And it was this like techno-futuristic, post-apocalyptic kind of thing. And their fans, I mean, they have fans, dude. Like I'm interning at this like tiny venue in not even Nashville, but in Murfreesboro. And cool place, definitely a cool place. But these guys had fans, and they like would dress up in like costumes that had like android hands with like green tubes coming out of them and shit. And I'm like, what is going on? What is happening? And they were popular within their ilk, and it was very strange. I don't know what it is in people sometimes, you know what I mean?
I honestly think that this is the main reason I have always, as long as I can remember, hated Kiss.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, I didn't even know Kiss.
Right.
I didn't
right.
know any music they played, but I would have a very visceral reaction to seeing them. It was just, ugh.
You just couldn't do it.
Ugh. One's got stars on his face. That's stupid.
But he's a space guy.
It's so dumb. And somehow, gimmicks, the only band that really escapes is the Ramones. They had a gimmick, but somehow I'm okay with it. And I don't know what it is about that makes the Ramones okay. But there's something.
I mean, I think the extent of their gimmick, though, was we all wear leather jackets and jeans.
Well, and we
name ourselves
Ramones.
Ramones. Yeah.
But that's more of a mild gimmick.
It's definitely,
I guess.
it's mild. It's definitely. Well, the other thing about the Ramones is they were like doing something pretty new and very high quality.
Well, that's
Their
true.
music is enjoyable. You know what I mean?
True. That's true.
I mean, David Bowie had a bajillion gimmicks if you want to break it down, but it didn't. Who cares? Like, he was amazing.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's all about quality.
So you have to be good enough for me to ignore your gimmick.
Right. The gimmick is just to get some attention. Mm-hmm. That's what this podcast needs. But the quality has to be high from the get-go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's all about quality at the end of the day.
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Still don't do it, though.
Don't do it. If you're out there thinking you might start a band or start a podcast, just don't have a gimmick. It's nice.
Starting anything in life. Like, you want to start a book club? Don't have a gimmick-filled book club. That's unpleasant. Just don't do anything gimmicky.
I don't know what that means. What would be a gimmick-filled book club?
Everyone wears a costume. I'm sure somewhere.
Like, period?
I would guarantee you somewhere there is a book club where everyone dresses up in the costume of the book that they just read to discuss it.
I'm fine with this idea if there's like a key party also involved.
Well, naturally there would be.
Of course. Hey, do me a favor, since we're on the topic of bands. I have a CD here for you. Could you pop it into the computer over there?
Seems like a whole thing.
I mean, I think it's gonna be worth it. So, it's no secret. I work at a recording facility.
What's the recording facility?
You'll never know that. And it's still, even though we don't like make well, that's an interesting sound. Even though we don't represent artists today, we still get a lot of CDs and demos dropped off at our door. And this is the latest. I was hoping you could pop that in for me there. Handing you the disc right now. Don't go ahead. Don't go ahead and. I got a whole treatise here to read, so don't spoil it.
Are we about
people.
to mock someone's artistic pursuits
I think we are.
for our own personal gain?
Yep. It's not even so much gain, it's just fun. It's going to be fun to mock their artistic pursuits. Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I think I recognize the name of this.
Really? That seems highly unlikely.
No, I see a lot of bad band types come across my computer screen and ignore them. I get emailed a lot of things to write about.
If these people have emailed you, you should definitely reach back out.
If it's the group I'm thinking of, they did, and I went, no, I do not want to interview them.
And what was it like?
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it? Oh,
no,
okay.
if it's who I'm thinking
There
of.
are reasons that all things are as they are, and fairies are responsible for a great many of them.
Was this it?
Magic is disappearing from the
No.
world of art.
I didn't.
It's very similar to this, though.
Really?
There is a movement in Nashville for this type of garbage.
You're kidding.
I mean, stuff.
Let's just give everyone a second to sink. Let this sink in.
With our knowledge, perhaps you would better understand. We are the Dance Macabre, and we are friends of the Fae. We've sought portals to their lands on sidewalks,
Okay.
in forests, in bookstores, and in our minds. The good folks
I'm just gonna
taught us
kind of
all
let it
we
roll a
could
little
grasp.
bit.
Did they
Over
just shout out
countless hours
bookstores?
playing
They
and
did. They
playing
shouted
and
out
playing
bookstores in a
with their
very
hands.
general way.
Cool.
So this showed up at my door.
This one goes to all my bookstores.
Calling about.
It is difficult to explain
So-
the Fae spell which inspires dancing mania. Ruled by ancient rhythms and written by
Okay.
I believe the
tricksters.
spell that
Yeah.
inspires
Music is at
dancing
one moment
mania
beautiful and sonorous,
is
and the
called
next discordant and
basically
atonal.
any drug.
I was gonna say
Every
ecstasy.
vibration
Any drug.
Okay, that's 100% enough of that.
There's a lot of tambourine there.
There's a lot of tambourine. There's like classical piano that they have ripped off the motif from something. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's a guy shouting. Now, included with their CD was not only a plush eagle,
Oh, that's actually really cool.
which we kept. Thanks
Yeah.
for the plush
How
eagle,
big?
guys. I mean, you know, moderately sized. Plush eagle sized.
Not like life size.
He's not a plus-sized plush eagle, but he's a moderate. He's in. I don't know what the right term is.
Mm-hmm.
He's
appropriately sized.
he's a healthy plush eagle.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So these guys apparently are called Theomania. As far as I can understand, that means crazy god. And there is a treatise on one side entitled "Why Would We Create Anything at All?" And on the back, the name of the record is called Dance Macabre, Friends of the Fae. And that gives a track list along with some other descriptors, okay? What do you want to hear? You want a little sample?
I really don't know that I'm going to be able to handle any of
I'm just going to
this.
give you a little bit. Let's taste for the listeners. Why would we create anything at all? They have done all they can to strip us of our imagination, our essence, our wonder from the very beginning. Generations before us have prepackaged expectations of what our lives should look like, how our time should be spent, and whether or not our voice is of value. If we are taught that we are incapable of expression or that our art will not be of any influence, then we will continue to consume in excess while we let our inner selves dwindle away. Now, I agree with them. Everything right there, I agree. What I don't...
I'm going to be honest. I
Yeah.
almost feel guilty for making fun of what they just did.
Well, I was going to say, I agree with them except for...
The realm has soul. Every sound dances with electricity.
Except for this.
The harmony is
This I don't
arresting.
agree with.
Hold
The
on,
attack
there's
is
a lot
infernal,
happening here.
and the flavor is unmistakable.
It is unmistakable.
Indeed it is. Indeed. This is a quote they included from Charlie Parker. My man, Charlie Parker, one of the greatest saxophone players of all time. What?
Do you think from Beyond the Grave, as they were typing this, Charlie Parker was watching going, no! I'm not involved!
I can only hope so.
Do not besmirch my name.
Music is your own expression, your own thoughts, your wisdom. If you don't live it, it won't come out of your horn. They teach you there's a boundary line to music, but there's no boundary line to art. Hashtag Charlie Parker. Theomania is a collective of friends who join together to redefine the culture of creation. We spent the last 3 years exploring, learning, crafting, and busking all over the eastern United States. They didn't get that far. We've shared... It's regional. This is regional buskers.
Right.
We've shared our creative process online, inviting people everywhere into our surreal world
Hold
through
it,
paintings,
pause.
photos, and vignettes. Yes.
They shared online.
Yeah.
They posted their crap online.
I'm going to give you a plug.
Is what they mean to say.
I want to give them a free plug right now. Theomania.org. THEIAMANIA.org. I suggest you go there and you contact them.
How do they have a .org website?
That I don't know. You're right. That I have no idea how they accomplished.
Oh, theomania.edu. .edu.
Yeah, .gov.
It makes just as much sense.
Now, Theomania presents the Dance Macabre. Mind-bending violin joins a vast collage of enchanting melodies with a single mission: to bring magic back to its rightful place in the world of art. See, they had me with the freedom of expression stuff, and then we've been held down and our imagination's been held captive. Then they get into goddamn fairies, and I can't go there. I just can't go there anymore.
Well, but by doing that, you're squashing their imagination. You can't have it both ways.
I'll squash the fuck out of some fairies.
You can't always get what you want.
But if you try sometimes. The spellbinding pair of charming piano and devilish fiddle is a fairy favorite, but many other creators can find their home in their realm. With our powers combined, we can bring various otherworldly energies out of any artist open to exploring the lines between lightness and darkness, harmony and dissonance, order and chaos.
I just wanted to know if it kept going forever, and it seems to.
It does. And their final line is a call to action. Paint with us. Track 2. They've stolen another classical motif.
Fairyland is far more diverse than most modern stories admit, and through the centuries...
Track 3. Are these keyboard presets?
I don't know. Honestly, it sounds like I'm playing the keyboard. And that's not a compliment.
The rebellious bird you thought you had caught by surprise.
I was just wondering if this is the vocal styling throughout.
The bird beats its wings and flies.
Don't mind me.
No, it's fine.
Mischievous house spirits called Duende la Casa.
It is. This is all they do.
This is what they do. Do it. Track 5.
Oh, they discovered the high end of
This is the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Nathan.
Tink was not all bad, but rather... Although Bram Stoker studied papers on Transylvanian
Bram Stoker?
superstitions before penning Dracula, Eastern European folktales share very little with his tragic hero.
I think those are words of wisdom. All right, that's enough of that.
So,
I honestly, this sounds not. It's worse than a band that contacted the website I write for, trying to get us to do a CD review / interview.
yeah.
Apparently, based on these two things, there's a big theatrical performance.
Oh, no.
Band movement thing happening here.
No. In Nashville?
I mean, the other one was from Nashville too,
Oh, no.
because they sent it to me going, "You're in Nashville, you might want to talk to them." And I listened to 10 seconds of their song. I do not want to talk to them. I do not want to see them. I do not want to know that they exist.
Right.
I do not like it. I do not like it, Sam.
Sam, I do not like this band and ham.
So
I will not hear them on a go.
all of the things I've said about gimmicks,
Yeah.
that means that there are at least 2 bands in the area that are solely based on gimmicks.
They have very strong gimmicks. Very strong gimmicks. This being one of them.
Yes.
I mean, this isn't even a gimmick. This is a way of life, Nathan. And I know that we're making fun of it, and I know that we're kind of being assholes right now, because clearly these people are off their fucking cosmic rockers.
I mean,
But I just couldn't resist.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
If they're doing it to just enjoy themselves,
It's fine.
Godspeed.
Godspeed. Who
Good
cares?
job.
Yeah.
If they think they're going to make a living doing that,
I don't think they do.
good. 'Cause they will not. Oh. So I just got Twitter alerts here.
Okay, all right. Hit me.
And I want to see your gut reaction to reading the headlines that I have been alerted to.
All right, I'm in.
From CNN Breaking News, 25 minutes ago. Trump again refused to say whether he believes Obama was born in the U.S. Says he'll answer, quote, at the right time.
Third grade education.
Okay.
That was my gut reaction.
Trump camp aide this morning says they're running a relentlessly positive campaign, per the Washington Post.
So was Hitler.
Okay. And this, I will summarize this because I read the article earlier today. Donald Trump Jr., that's right, there's a backup Donald Trump, said today that his father won't be releasing his tax returns because it will turn everyone into couch accountants, or whatever he phrased it as, amateur accountants, and people will be scrutinizing them. That was their reasoning. The main reason being people will look at them if we release them for people to look at.
Potatoes.
I need to delete Twitter until the election is over.
It might be helpful for you.
Because I get these alerts just periodically throughout the day, and every one of them hurts my head. This is a real... These things are actually happening. I don't know which is more upsetting. The election or that band.
Yeah. It's all upsetting. It's
Yeah.
for sure all upsetting.
I'm putting my phone away.
Did it just make you depressed? You
can't do
you
it.
couldn't even get through it?
Donald Trump had a quote about replacing Obamacare, and I read "you" at the beginning of it. It was just the word "you," and I went, I'm not liking where this is going already.
You should have a tower with your name on it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I've been, you know what? All the Joe Rogan I've been listening to, I'm now counterbalancing it with Greg Proops.
Oh, well, that's the opposite of Joe Rogan in every... I think literally every way. He is, except for he is also male.
Yeah, but the nice thing is, those particular two gentlemen have been able on several occasions to come together and be on one show and have civil discussions about things. It was beautiful.
I don't think I could listen to a podcast with both Joe Rogan and Greg Proops on it.
Well, they both get stoned. That's the other thing they have in common.
Right.
Yeah.
I will start by saying, and this is nothing against Greg Proops.
Yeah.
I can't listen to Greg Proops.
Why?
I just can't do it.
So fast?
It's just unpleasant to me.
Oh.
And it's not anything. He's funny. I just can't listen to him.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's not funny, and I also can't listen to him.
I think we've shit on Joe Rogan enough.
Nope, never. Not until Joe Rogan hears me and acknowledges me.
I like his show. I really do. I like Joey Diaz a fuck ton. That guy.
You realize you just said, I like Joe Rogan's show.
I like
not
this other
Joe
guy a
Rogan
lot.
is really funny.
I've never seen his comedy, so I have no idea.
But you just selected not Joe Rogan
Well,
as the best part of the Joe Rogan podcast. That's like listening to Howard Stern and going, I really like Robin. Robin's great.
My favorite thing about Johnny Carson is Ed McMahon.
The difference being, of course, Johnny Carson was better than Ed McMahon, and Joe Rogan is not better than anybody on his show.
Ed McMahon's favorite thing about Johnny Carson? Remembering. I went to Cookout this week. You ever go to Cookout?
Yeah, I have.
Cookout is fucking delicious. It's a fast food joint. The great thing about Cookout that I like so much is that no matter what you order, it's always a surprise what you get.
Well, that's true.
It is true. You can look in your bag and see cheese fries when you ordered like a salad. But who's unhappy about cheese fries? I mean, come on.
I actually don't like cheese fries.
Really?
Wow.
I feel like this is a non-starter in our relationship that you don't like cheese fries.
I would just rather have regular fries.
Okay, but you like French fries.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just, every time I ever have cheese fries, they end up congealed at some point.
That does happen, yeah.
And I don't like congealed cheese.
So you're not an inhuman monster is what you're saying.
I mean, I'm not going that far. Over the weekend, this ties into your Cookout story.
Okay.
It's upsetting. We watched a documentary called Fed Up.
I know this one.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it.
And then I immediately, and you'll know what the documentary is about based on what I'm about to say, went on a sweep of our house to find out where Added Sugar was located. So now I'm afraid of Added Sugar.
Yeah.
In everything. Tonight is the first night we've had something for dinner where there was actually added sugar probably involved somewhere. Because since then, everything I've had, I'm like, fish. I'm just cooking fish. I'm not putting anything on it.
Right.
I went and looked at our baby formula.
Yeah.
Apparently, for those who haven't seen it, you should watch it. Added sugar makes all of our kids fat, stupid fatties. And we don't realize where all it's at.
Right.
It turns out it's everywhere.
It's in everything.
If you don't look around the corner before you turn it, there could be added sugar waiting to club you over the head and take advantage of you.
And tickle your balls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the taking advantage.
Right.
It's the gentle part of
yeah,
it.
it's the part that you didn't really want it to happen, but
Right.
it could have gone much worse.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it does. It's added sugar. It's nasty.
And added sugar, but has a tambourine.
I don't know that I can buy prepackaged food anymore.
No, it's tough because it's all up in there.
Yeah.
And
everything.
And it's disguised as so many different things.
Today I went to go make my lunch for work and I was like, salad dressing. And then I immediately put that back in the fridge and went, can't have any of this.
No.
Balsamic vinegar.
Yep. Maybe some olive oil. Maybe a little pepper.
No olive oil.
No olive oil.
No, because I've watched things about added fat.
Oh, see.
So that's no good either.
Well, you got to get the right olive oil. Now listen to an audiobook about olive oil.
Well, no, but it still has fat in it.
Well, sure, but it's good fat. Oh yeah, we're not going there. We're not doing this.
Good fat is only good fat in small quantities.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, fine. Did you hear, by the way, this? I heard this week. It finally came out that sugar companies paid scientists to say that sugar wasn't bad for you.
Oh, it's in that documentary.
It's in there. That fat is what's bad for you. So all of that low-fat bullshit of 10, 15 years ago plus is all because of these people were being fucking paid off to say so.
In this documentary, it talks about that. And it also talks about the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
Recommending people don't have more than, I believe it was 25 milligrams, grams, whatever the measurement would be, of added sugar in a day, period.
25? Wow.
And the sugar lobby threw such a fit about this and somehow influenced them enough that it changed to no more than 10% of your calories or something.
What?
Should be from added sugar.
These fucking people, Nathan. These people.
Yeah, and it's not even hidden. They're not even trying to hide it.
Right.
If you if you went and found the people who are in charge of sugar and said, hey, this, they'd probably go, yeah. No, and we did that. Yeah. You want some Kool-Aid?
Guess what we're doing right now?
A Hi-C Ecto cooler? You want one of those?
I missed that.
It's back.
Oh, no.
I can't have one.
It's only for girls now, though, right?
I can't confirm nor deny that. I saw it at the store. I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Which is good because I wouldn't be able to drink it now.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Added sugar.
Well, and juice is bullshit, too. Mm-hmm. Juice is total bullshit.
Yeah. However, I did learn fruit. You don't have to worry about the sugar.
Fruit's good because there's fiber in there.
Yeah. Just gets right through you.
You got to eat it.
It's not,
it doesn't stick.
Yeah. If there's enough fiber,
You're
your
right.
body is able to process the sugar adequately. If you, let's say, eat a Krispy Kreme donut, your body's not able to process that adequately.
Interesting.
And so then it turns the sugar into fat, and then your kid becomes a big fatty fat.
Damn. Well,
They get the diabetes. They die a terrible, terrible diabetic death.
or this.
Actually, that's really peaceful.
That is kind of nice.
It still sounds like I'm playing it. I mean, slightly better.
Can I tell you one thing as we're listening to this relaxing music right now? I haven't talked to you about this at all, but it's an idea that's been cooking for a while in my head.
This is terrifying.
I want to make a Sushi Jackknife meditation tape. But it won't be a tape, it'll be taped. We're going to call it a tape because I'm fixated on the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of me being involved, can we just hire this guy?
I think that's possible.
Imagine you're on a beach. It's a relaxing beach. Relax. Deep breath. It's perfect.
It's perfect.
That's exactly how relaxing a meditation tape should be.
This has been fun. I think tonight we should let these guys take us out. What do you say?
Do we have to let this one take us out?
This particular one?
What just happened?
Although Bram Stoker studied papers on Transylvanian superstition.
Let's let this take us out.
That's much nicer.
Calm. Good night, all you lovely people.
Sushi Jackknife.
Sushi Jackknife.
She was a child and I was a child, in a kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and mine Italy. With such a love that the angels of heaven and hell coveted her and me. But our love was stronger by far than the love of those that were older and wiser.
This ain't half bad.
And neither the angels in heaven above
Definitely not half good, though.
could ever